know what we might get, Symone? We might get round 2 of Hawks and 76ers in round 2.
Y'all don't want that smoke. Y'all not the same Hawks y'all was.
We want that smoke, trust me. Really.
Y'all don't. First of all,
let us
sorry.
Get out the play-in and let us, handle Miami.
Let us get out the play-in. Y'all barely in the play-in.
I'm just saying it could happen.
You need to keep your sights focused on the buzzing and swarming Hornets.
I am.
What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Dylan Matthews and
Symone. Jalen Mills is somebody that I get behind.
I'm not even gonna cap on DeAndre Hopkins. He has the best hands in the league. Play
His
through
stayed
it.
hurt and played through it, hobbling on back to the field.
Right. I'm saying when you one of the best teams out there, the other team's division ain't got no choice but to try and get like you. You dig?
So let's get right into the video.
Let's go.
Welcome back to another great episode of Tough Calls, guys. Today is play-in, playoff edition. Finally, Dylan.
It's finally here. Thank you, Lord. We made it.
We made it. It's been a crazy NBA season, right? Really good, just top to bottom, from the beginning to the end, to a playoffs where the East, the West. We'll tap it with the West
we'll
a little bit.
We'll tap on that in a little bit.
In a little bit, we'll tap it with the West. I keep promising we're going to talk about it. We're going to get there later.
We're going to get there eventually. We're going to have no choice eventually. We're going to get there. It's just they real top heavy.
Yeah, we'll tap
the bottom feeders is real bottom feeders.
We'll definitely be doing reactions.
Yeah.
And once we get into the thick of it, we'll definitely be doing more West coverage. But y'all, we got to get into all this East drama. So here is the rundown for today. We're going to start with the play-in tournament. That's the first thing up. First things first, Tuesday, Wednesday, the play-in tournament is going to determine pretty much everything. Well, not everything. And then we're going to get into the matchups that are already set, which are Sixers, Raptors, Bucks, Bulls. All the other matchups are depending on the play-in tournament. So let's start with the 9-10 matchup, Dylan. Your Atlanta Hawks versus the North Carolina, you know what I'm saying, born and raised, yeah. Charlotte Hornets.
You never claimed them.
Did I say I claimed them? I just sang a song.
Oh, okay.
All I sang was a song.
You got a little too excited about the Hornets.
Well, I mean, they did give me my first internship job.
Still got a little too excited about the Hornets.
You know I'm rooting for y'all.
Are you? After that little ditty, I don't know.
All I said was versus the North Carolina, born and raised. Yeah, we only got one song.
Anywho.
But yeah, set the stage for that matchup and what it means.
So, just to go back and give you guys some context, we did split with the Charlotte Hornets this year. Lost 2-1-2. We ended up winning the tiebreaker though because we had the better division record. So that's why we're the 9th seed and they're the 10th seed. I think we were a game better anyway. But anywho, it's going to be a good game. Both of these teams have similar playing styles. They like to run, score a lot of points, but they both ain't great defensively. So I anticipate a high-scoring game. But one thing to note is that the last time the Hawks and the Hornets played, the Hornets, found a way to shut down Trae Young. Ooh. He was 0 of 6 from 3 and only had 9 points. And that was the most recent matchup. So they could have something on film. They probably will go back to that game field and see what they did against the Hawks to, really shut down Trae Young. Now, on the other hand of that, the Hawks also have that same film. They can figure out how they can attack whatever Charlotte was doing to take away Trae Young so effectively. So I feel good about the Hawks in this situation. The main thing about this is who's going to get the stops defensively. They both can score points. We both are going to be able to knock down shots, this, that, and the third. Who's going to step up and get the stops? Also, which bench unit is going to be better? I don't anticipate Trae Young only having 9 points and being 0-6 from 3. I just don't. Playoff Trae Young is different. It's going to be on national TV too. National TV Trae Young is different. So, and the Hawks are now, should be in that stage where they're motivated. We remember Trae Young came back and said in the second game of the season that he just wished the playoffs are here. Well, Trae, the playoffs been here for us, and he stated that too, but now they really, really are here. So it's time to step up. The Hawks will be motivated. The Hornets will be motivated too, though, and they're hot. They've won they won 11 out of their last 15 games, and they're on a 3-game winning streak as well. So the Hornets are playing well. Hawks are obviously playing well, and it's gonna be 2 good matchups. But for me, it's which team can get the most stops. Obviously, And it's gonna come down to the others too. Is Kevin Huerter gonna have a big game? This is technically a Game 7. We need Game 7 Kevin to come out like he did against the Philadelphia 76ers. Not sure if John Collins is gonna be back. Probably not. We're gonna have to obviously find ways to neutralize, LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, and those guys. So, is Danilo Gallinari gonna keep stepping up like he has been starting for John Collins? So it's going to come down to the others. Trae Young's going to do his thing, but it's going to be a real good matchup, but it's going to come down to defense.
I think I saw something, too, about y'all's home record. Like, y'all have a really good home record.
Yeah. Our last, 2 months, we only lost probably, 1, maybe 2 games at home. Our home record, it started off good. It was a little shaky in the middle, but then we closed at home very, very well. So we beat the Suns at home. We beat the Bucks at home. We beat the Cavs at home. I mean, we beat a lot of very, very good teams at home this year. So I'm feeling good about us on our home court. Everybody's going to be piped up, amped up, turned up, and we're going to be ready to get this dub, but we got a lot of work to do.
So, Dylan,
yes.
Like you're saying, this is a must-win game, or y'all are out, period.
Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We didn't get in that 7-8 game, so we have no margin for error. We win, our season's donezo.
That's tough. But like you said, it's going to be hard to contain. It's going to be hard to keep Trae Young down twice. It's hard for a team. It's going to be hard for the Hornets to replicate what they did last time with Trae Young, like you said, only having 9 points like that. That's a once-in-a-blue moon performance.
And also to put it out there now, the Hornets did make the play-in last year. They didn't make it out of the play-in, but they did make the play-in last year. Obviously, the Hawks went on their run. So the playoff experience does favor the Hawks in that scenario. So, we have that little advantage as well.
So we'll see. Juicy, big, spicy. But before we get into the playoff matchups, Bucks and Bulls, Sixers and Raptors, let's talk a little bit more about the play-in scenario. So a lot of people keep talking on the internet about potential matchups with the Nets. And what I mean is, there's people already saying, when the Celtics and Bucks game was going on, why would the Celtics should lose so they can get the 3 seed and play the Bulls and then avoid the 2 seed and having to play the Nets. First of all, the Nets haven't even gotten the 7th seed yet. The Nets are in the play-in for a freaking reason. Now, the Nets Kyrie and KD are amazing players. I'm not even going to say amazing team yet because the team hasn't played amazing. All we know is Kyrie and KD are amazing. Kyrie hasn't shown up all the time. The team hasn't shown up. The game against the Pacers last night, that was a game.
Not close.
If they lost that game, they would have been the 8th seed, right?
No, they would have lost that game.
They would have been 9.
That would have been the 9 seed. We would have been the 10 seed.
Exactly. Last night, that Pacers game has so many implications, and I'm glad Van Gundy, we don't be agreeing that much, but he kept saying the Nets have just been playing so uninspired. You wouldn't think that game against the Pacers, they didn't have a fire lit under them. You wouldn't think that they were in danger of falling to the 9 seed if they lost that game. So like we said before, the Nets might turn it up when they get into the playoffs, but at the end of the day, who freaking knows? So if I'm the Bucks or if I was the Celtics or the 76ers, I want to get the highest seed as possible. And the Celtics did that. I'm not worried about potentially playing the Nets at the 7th seed because the Nets right now are the 7th seed going into the play-in. But in order to keep that 7th seed, they have to beat the Cavs. But they will have 2 chances. If they lose to the Cavs, they will have another chance beating the winner of Hawks Hornets. The Nets could easily be the 8th seed.
They could. They could easily be the 8th seed.
So I'm saying, let's stop acting like, it's a lock for the Nets to be the 7th seed. And even if they are the 7th seed, honestly, out of all the teams in the playoffs, the East right now, the Nets are one of the teams I'm not worried. I'm worried about the Cavs the least. And then the Nets. No, I'm worried about the Cavs, the Bulls, and then the Nets. I'm least worried about the Cavs, least worried about the Bulls, and then the Nets. So I'm saying they're not even in my top 3 of worry. Okay? I just had to get that off my freaking chest.
Say what you had to say. How are you feeling exactly though about the Nets Cavs matchup? It's time to wake up. Anywho, I feel like it could be a real interesting matchup. Like you said, the Nets could turn on, but they've been so inconsistent this year. We don't know. And then Evan Mobley is back. He was injured.
He's gonna be back.
He's already back. He's been back for the last 2 regular season games. The one thing is Jarrett Allen gonna be back along with that though, because if Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are back, that's a big size advantage for the Cavs. So they could take advantage of that there maybe down low. Because, I mean, Claxton is long, yeah, but, I mean, you got 2 Twin Towers down there with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley if Jared Allen is back. I'm not sure if he's going to be back or not for the play-in, but that's something to look out for as well. So like you said, it's not even a guarantee that the Nets get out.
Exactly. Big brother. Let's stop the narrative. Stop the narrative, okay?
And if they do get out and they do end up playing the Celtics have been hot. They've been arguably the hottest team in basketball, probably next to the Grizzlies, this whole second half of the season post All-Star break.
So we're going to see. We're going to get it. Let's not get a little too ahead of it. Let's talk about, okay, so we talked about the play-in, Nets, Cavs, Hawks, Hornets. They're going to be determining a lot for the Heat and for the Bucks.
Yeah.
But let's get into the 2 playoff matchups that we already know, starting with the Philadelphia Sixers versus the Toronto Raptors. Now, obviously, the Raptors have been extremely hot as of late. The Raptors, I saw a stat, I want to say I believe they won at least 12 matchups against the top 4 teams.
Sound about right.
This season.
Sound about
Of course, they got 2 versus the Sixers. No, they're okay. I got it. They're 7-2 against the top 4: Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, and is it Bulls? No, Bucks, Celtics, and Heat.
Yeah.
They're 7-2. The Raptors are 7-2 against the top 4 teams. They got 2 of their wins, obviously, against the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, my thing with this matchup, a lot of stats are being pulled. You know how stats are being pulled from the past? Oh, Joel Embiid is average 20 or 17 points in them. But that was when Marc Gasol was with the Raptors. This is a new Raptors team. And now the Raptors did get the best of the Sixers this season. But you know me, and I say this across all sports properties. It's hard to beat a team which would now be 3 times in a row for the Raptors.
Exactly.
That's not happening. First of all, the Sixers, now, James Harden is definitely going to be the X factor when it comes to this matchup against the Raptors.
Right.
We already know the bench. The Sixers bench is a known, okay? A known quantity.
Yeah.
We know the bench goes up. I mean, point blank, period, okay?
But the Raptors bench isn't that great either.
Yeah, they're not, but they have so many more playmakers just starting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That they don't need to get as much from their bench.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
It's going to be a big question whether Fred VanVleet is going to be back. He's been nursing an injury, and OG Anunoby. When we played them this season, we did not face Fred VanVleet. These past 2 games, Fred VanVleet hasn't played, so that's going to be a big question mark. Their youngin, Scotty Barnes. Where did Scotty go? Florida State?
Yes.
Florida State. Scotty Barnes, he mainly has been guarding James Harden since we've had James Harden in our Raptors matchups. He's definitely, I mean, we know the Raptors defense is locked down.
Yeah.
He's definitely gotten the best of James Harden. Now, James Harden has definitely, he's got the facilitation on lock. We know he can share the ball well. But we're going to need James Harden to put up points.
Yes.
Big period. Like, okay, we get it, the assist, the facilitation, running the offense. That's all great, but at the end of the day, we're going to need to put up points. Joel Embiid, we know, is going to drop whatever he needs to drop. The max amount. Joel Embiid is going to feast. Joel Embiid is going to eat.
Yeah.
The bench, we can't rely on the bench. But what we know is that James Harden, the series against the Raptors is going to come down to whether James Harden steps up or not.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid is a known. We know Joel Embiid is going to ball. Joel Embiid is going to dominate. He's going to be the best player on the court. He is the best player on the court.
Right.
What it's going to come down to, will James Harden step up? Offensively.
Exactly.
Bucketly, not just assistly.
Put that one in the Urban Dictionary.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. If James Harden is the James Harden that we saw back in Houston, if he's the James Harden that, we even saw back in OKC, then y'all be fine. It'll still be a tough series.
It's definitely going to be a tough series. I'm not denying that.
Right.
The Raptors, like I said, they have playmakers on playmakers all around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everything can't rely on Joel Embiid. Tobias Harris has been playing really well as of late. He's coming into the playoffs hot, which we need him to be.
He'll be an X factor too.
Definitely. But James is the X factor.
Yeah, I mean, James is definitely the biggest. I think James is the deciding factor.
James is the deciding factor.
Tobias will be an X factor though. And then also another thing to look out for, like you said, both benches, there's no super heavy favorite towards either bench. So I think the bench production for both teams is going to be a big part of, what happens in the series as well. It's going to be a good series, though. The Raptors are a scrappy team. Do what they need to do defensively. They're balanced too.
See, the thing about the Raptors get a lot of steals. Our last game against the Raptors, they forced a lot of turnovers. We had 17 turnovers. We're terrible in transition. I think teams are scoring 60. They're scoring like around 63% on us in transition.
Another thing to look out for too in y'all series, the Raptors, I don't know if they're the #1 offensive rebounding team. I'm pretty sure they're the #1 offensive rebounding team in the league. So that's another thing to look out for too. Now, that might only come into play heavy when Joel Embiid is out of the game, because I feel pretty good because the Raptors
Joel Embiid's going to have to play the whole game.
The Raptors don't have a true big man, and that plays well to, obviously Joel Embiid, because he's pretty much going to have a pretty sizable advantage down low in the post, whoever he's going up against. So he should be able to gobble up most of the rebounds. But when he's out of the game, that's when you need to look out for that offensive rebound statistic.
And the thing that's going to be tough is because this series and not even just series, this whole playoffs, is that we live and die by Joel Embiid.
Yes.
Well, no, we live and die by what?
James Harden?
James Harden, because we know what Joel is going to be.
Yeah, Joel's been consistent all year.
Exactly. We live and die by the others.
Yes.
Stepping up and continuously stepping up.
Right.
My thing is, Joel Embiid is going to have to play every game, all game, especially when we go to Toronto. We're not going to have Matisse Thybulle. Our best perimeter defender.
That's going to be huge.
In Toronto.
Was he guarding Spicy P? Or
Pascal Siakam?
Yeah.
I mean, he just roamed. He's a roamer.
That's going to be big, too, because Pascal Siakam, Spicy P, he's been real spicy lately. He's been on a tear to end this season. So that's going to be something to look out for, too.
Well, when we played
Matisse
the game, the last game when he had the triple-double, Matisse wasn't playing because we were in Toronto.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, and then if Fred VanVleet comes back.
Yeah, and then Gary Trent Jr., if he gets hot, too, because Gary Trent Jr., when he gets hot, he's inferno, because he had that stretch where he was, had like 5 or 6 games where he had like 30-plus points for 5 straight games. So. And
the Raptors have found a way, at least the last 2 games, to lock down James Harden. Like I said, it's mainly been Scotty Barnes.
Right.
But, Gary would have some time guarding him. Prince, I keep on calling him Princess. Prince has spent time guarding him as well. So, but it's mainly been Scotty Barnes. But they definitely flock. Anytime James Harden gets the ball.
Yeah.
Dino arms just all in the face.
Dino arms. Yeah, but I mean,
But James is gonna have to step his year, because like I said, everything comes down to Joel Embiid. We gotta manage him right this playoffs.
Yes.
And it's tough because we have such a turmoilous. I don't even know this word. We have such a tumultuous. I think.
Maybe.
We have such a tough first round matchup.
It is.
The man can't get a break,
That's
boy.
Tough. And then also.
But also all that Yee talking, the Raptors and all them want to talk so much Yee. I mean, that's going to fuel Joel Embiid.
It is.
But Joel Embiid isn't the one that needs fueling. The one who needs fueling
he's going to be fired up anyway.
Exactly, is James. If he's not getting to the free throw line, he's not producing.
Maybe Jurassic Park will fire him up. But yeah, so the Raptors, long, athletic. They're all long, athletic, good defensively. It's going to be a tough matchup for y'all for sure. But again, James Harden comes in with the right mindset. He comes in actually scoring the ball too, along with facilitating. Y'all be fine, even with Matisse Thybulle out in those games in Toronto. And that's going to be a really good matchup, something I'm looking out for. And you know what we might get, Symone? We might get round 2 of Hawks and 76ers in round 2.
Y'all don't want that smoke. Y'all not the same Hawks y'all was.
We want that smoke, trust me. Really.
Y'all don't. First of all,
let us
sorry.
get out the play-in and let us, handle Miami.
Let us get out the play-in. Y'all barely in the play-in.
I'm just saying it could happen.
You need to keep your sights focused on the buzzing and swarming Hornets.
I am. I'm just saying we wrapping up the video and I'm just, putting a little nugget. We could get another little
You getting way too ahead of yourself.
I'm just saying.
Focus on Tuesday.
It's Wednesday. Actually. So yeah. I'm focused on Wednesday. Trust me.
Wait, how would that matchup happen?
If we beat Miami and y'all beat
if y'all gotta beat Charlotte first.
I know. We beat Charlotte, then we beat the loser of Cleveland, Brooklyn, then we go to Miami and handle business there. Win
You
4 out of 7 there.
way too
And then y'all handle y'all business against Toronto.
You get
and
way
then boom,
too.
boom. We get a nice little 8-4 matchup.
But you get way too ahead
I
of
know.
yourself.
I'm getting way ahead of myself.
But at the same time, I'm sorry, Dylan. Y'all not the same team.
Okay.
But what about a Ben Simmons coming back?
Ooh.
They're saying Ben Simmons could be ready for the
He done took
first
long
round.
Enough. He done took long enough ramping up.
So he's too good for the play-in? That's
He
what's
must be.
giving.
Right.
He's giving he too good for the play-in.
Right.
But we gotta go live during some of these matchups.
We gonna have to.
So we can't go live Wednesday because you're gonna be working. If y'all live to see another game,
That'll be on Friday.
we can go live Friday. But you will be
I
working.
might be working Friday. We'll see.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday, because I'll be off Sunday. So yeah, Sunday.
Yes,
Sunday.
Sunday.
Tap
So
in on
stay
Sunday.
tuned. Make sure you got your notification bells on because we're going to go live during one of those games on Sunday. It's going to be lit. But y'all, let us know what y'all think down below. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe. Keep rocking with us. Check out Dylan's channel if you're here from mine. Check out my channel if you're here from Dylan. Turn your notification bells on. And until we talk to you guys next time.
Peace.